What if I told you that some of the canned foods sitting in your pantry right now could be slowly killing you? Well, here are the top canned foods you need to ditch immediately. But don't worry, we're not leaving you empty-handed. We'll also reveal 3 canned foods that are actually good for you. Now, it's no exaggeration to say that tuna is incredibly popular in the United States. We're talking roughly 1 billion pounds of fish eaten annually. And of that massive amount, a large proportion is in canned form. There's an ease to canned tuna that's undeniable, and unlike some other canned foods, the fish actually retains its flavor and freshness excellently. But there's one glaring reason why you should reduce your canned tuna intake. Wonder what that is? The amount of mercury you could be ingesting. You've heard this before, we know. But somehow, there is still an increasing number of people eating tuna weekly, sometimes daily, thinking they are taking the healthy path. Big mistake. White tuna is particularly problematic when it comes to mercury. This canned tuna type, most commonly sourced from albacore, can have almost triple the amount of mercury than other varieties. And eating too much mercury can cause some serious problems. Excessive mercury levels can affect multiple parts of your body negatively, including your kidneys, heart, and central nervous system. In particularly severe cases, mercury poisoning can cause blindness, seizures, and even death. While these extreme symptoms often occur from long-term excessive exposure, it's always a good idea to limit your intake wherever possible, and cutting down on white tuna might be a good way to do it. Trust us, your health will thank you very soon. Moving to number 9, we've got canned ham. Now, who doesn't love the idea of having a ready-to-eat ham waiting in the pantry? No holiday preparation needed, just peel and serve. But here's where things get dicey. A 3-ounce slice delivers a mind-blowing 1,050 milligrams of sodium. That's 44% of your entire day's recommended salt intake in just one slice. And let's be honest, when was the last time you stopped at just one slice of ham? But wait, there's more to worry about. Like other processed meats, this canned ham contains sodium nitrate, a curing agent used to preserve color and prevent bacterial growth. The problem? High sodium intake over time raises blood pressure, strains your heart, and increases your risk of stroke and kidney disease. And excessive nitrates? Once inside your body, they can form nitrosamines, compounds linked to certain cancers, particularly of the digestive tract. In short, canned ham might be convenient, but too much of it is like sending your cardiovascular system and your colon a pink slip. Coming in at number 8 is chicken noodle soup. Nothing hits quite like a bowl of chicken noodle soup when you're feeling under the weather, right? But here's a question you might not have considered. Can comfort food actually make you feel worse? The answer is yes when it's loaded with sodium like this one is. Let's look at the numbers. A 1-cup serving contains 110 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, and 7 grams of protein. Sounds pretty reasonable so far. There's even a modest 30 milligrams of cholesterol. But then comes the sledgehammer. 690 milligrams of sodium in just one bowl. That's 30% of your total daily recommended allowance in a single serving. And who stops at 1 cup when they're sick and craving comfort? Most people polish off the whole can, which means you're potentially consuming 60% or more of your daily sodium in one sitting. We talked about the incredibly negative impacts of a high-sodium diet in the previous segment, so we won't talk your ears off with the same thing here again. But with these last 2 canned goods, you can see how quickly your sodium intake can rise to stratospheric highs just from picking the wrong foods. So here we have a soup people turn to when they want to feel better, but once you realize the salty pleasure comes at such a nutritional cost, those good feelings don't feel so good anymore. Lucky number 7 goes to mandarin oranges in light syrup. You know, canned fruits aren't the best, but you figure it's still fruit, so at least I'm eating somewhat healthy, correct? But there's nothing lucky about what's floating in that can with those orange segments. These come packed in light syrup, which sounds better than heavy syrup, right? Well, light syrup is still syrup, folks. It's essentially water mixed with sugar. Sure, it skips the double corn syrup punch of heavy syrup, But you're still adding unnecessary sugar to fruit that already produces its own. Each half-cup serving contains 30 grams of total sugar, with 15 grams being added sugar. That's 30% of a recommended day's worth of added sugar. And this all adds up to 100 calories per serving. Now compare that to a fresh mandarin. A whole fresh mandarin contains only 47 calories on average. You're getting double the calories from the canned version. Plus, that fresh mandarin's natural 10.6 grams of sugar aren't compromised by any syrup. Now, in 2025, it is very easy to overdo it on sugar without even noticing it. Guess what that leads to? Metabolic diseases, and faster than you think. Recent studies have shown that close to 90% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy, placing them at high risk of diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular diseases. Imagine how much better you'd fare health-wise by grabbing a bag of fresh mandarins from the produce aisle. Sure, you have to peel them, but that's kind of like exercise, a healthy fringe benefit. And it beats having to take your daily meds to control your diabetes. Sliding into number 6, we have apple pie filling. Now, we all know this isn't going into a health salad, right? If you've got this can in your cart, you're planning something sweet. Here is that processed sugar again. But even for a dessert ingredient, this one crosses a line. Let's talk about this sugar content. Of the 21 grams of sugar per serving, 19 grams are added sugar. That means only 2 grams come from the actual apples. One serving carries 38% of the recommended quantity of added sugars you should have per day, and the can contains 7 servings, which presumably equals 7 slices of pie. So one slice is already more than enough to create a major crease in your nutritional roadmap. As humans, we lose weight when we remain at a slight calorie deficit. Try staying in energy balance or a healthy deficit if you are eating this regularly. Here's what's especially disappointing. Making pie filling from fresh apples is incredibly easy. You control the sugar quantity, you know exactly what's going into your dessert, and the flavor is so much better. Your family deserves homemade filling, not this sugar bomb in a can. Okay, here's something the canned food industry doesn't want you thinking about too hard. We've been conditioned to see canned foods as convenient, budget-friendly pantry staples, and in many cases, they absolutely can be. But here's the twist. Many of the worst nutritional offenders in the canned food aisle aren't trying to feed you. They're trying to preserve products for maximum shelf life, which means loading them with sodium, sugar, and preservatives that keep food safe for years. And the irony? The very ingredients that make these foods shelf-stable are the same ones that make them unhealthy for regular consumption. Sodium nitrates preserve color in meats, but may increase cancer risk. Heavy syrups prevent fruit from browning, but triple the sugar content. Excessive sodium keeps soups and sauces from spoiling, but pushes your blood pressure through the roof. The companies aren't necessarily being malicious. They're solving a logistics problem. But somewhere along the way, nutrition took a backseat to convenience and profitability. And that's why reading labels isn't just smart, it's essential. At number 5, we have overstuffed Italian sausage ravioli. This processed pasta tells a different story. The ravioli pockets are stuffed with pork, textured soy protein, and cracker meal. What's cracker meal? Basically breadcrumbs, which means more enriched wheat flour. So you're getting pasta stuffed with more pasta ingredients. And the nutritional damage? A single serving contains 5 grams of fat, 10 milligrams of cholesterol, and 750 milligrams of sodium. That's 31% of your daily sodium allowance. There's also 11 grams of sugar lurking in the sauce, making this even less nutritious. Coming in at number 4, we have SpaghettiOs with chicken meatballs. Just because your kids will eat it doesn't mean they should. This subpar pasta has been bouncing around the food world for decades with the shady reputation of a less-than food that's only good in a pinch. And even then, it's not such a great idea. First off, let's address the obvious. Do spaghetti naturally occur in O shapes? Of course not. This is your first clue about the highly processed nature of this dubious canned food. The sauce contains water, tomato puree, and high fructose corn syrup. high fructose corn syrup. That's a nutritional no-go you'd expect in candy and soda, not in a child's dinner. And those meatballs? They're made from mechanically separated chicken, soy protein concentrate, and flavoring. Here's a good rule. If you can't easily describe what's in it, you probably shouldn't be eating it. It might seem like an easy win to have a can or two in your pantry for emergencies, but the shady nutritional reality says steer clear. Chili sure sounds comforting on a brisk winter day, doesn't it? But the nutrition facts on this ready-to-eat meal tell a different story. Sure, there's a substantial 25 grams of protein in each can-size serving, but that protein shares space with an incredible 80 milligrams of cholesterol and 32 grams of fat, 12 of which are saturated. That saturated fat alone equals 60% of your recommended daily allowance. There's small consolation in knowing you'll get 14 grams of dietary fiber, especially when it comes packaged with the real villain here. Brace yourself. 2,100 milligrams of sodium. That's 91% of an entire day's recommended intake in one serving. Let that sink in. One bowl of this chili, and you've basically maxed out your sodium for the day. There are plenty of healthy chili recipes out there that can deliver the same soothing sensation while keeping your well-being in check. Heavy syrup never appears in anything healthy, and this product puts the questionable ingredient right in the name. If you're cracking open a can of cubed fruit, you should already know you're getting a load of sugar, even without syrup. While fruit-based fiber helps your body regulate naturally occurring sugars, added sugar increases calories and contributes to blood sugar spikes that can make you feel unwell. That's why fresh fruit is always the better choice. This particular heavy syrup combines high fructose corn syrup, sugar, and corn syrup. That's a trifecta of nutritional bad actors we mentioned earlier. And how much sugar are we talking about? 21 grams total, with 13 grams being added sugar. According to the American Heart Association, men should consume no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day, while women should limit consumption to 25 grams. Based on these guidelines, one serving of this syrup-soaked fruit covers nearly half of a woman's daily added sugar intake. And that's from something marketed as healthy fruit. The long-held joke about this product is that nobody really knows for sure what goes into it. Some people have jokingly called it spare parts and meat. Ingredients are mostly pork with ham, plus salt, sugar, potato starch, and water. But here's what nobody can explain. What is that gelatinous goop cradling the meat cube inside the can? Seriously, what is that stuff? There is sodium nitrate also in the recipe. This preservative is common in cured meats, which makes it a problem in our modern diet. Excessive sodium nitrate consumption has been linked with colorectal cancer and heart disease, among other potentially chronic conditions. But forget the mystery meat concerns for a moment. All you need to do is read the nutrition facts to know this isn't healthy. A 2-ounce serving, just a single slice, carries 16 grams of fat. 6 grams are saturated, which equals 30% of your daily recommended intake. You're also getting 40 milligrams of cholesterol and 790 milligrams of sodium. That's 34% of your daily sodium allowance from one slice. And the can suggests 6 servings per meat block. No wonder the manufacturers offer light and reduced sodium versions. Though these alternatives do absolutely nothing to address the sodium nitrate present in all forms of the product. With so much counting against it, from mystery ingredients to sky-high sodium and saturated fat, this processed meat product earns its place as the worst canned food you should absolutely avoid. Okay, so now that we've covered the absolute worst canned foods, you're probably asking, are there really any canned foods that are both convenient and healthy? Absolutely. In fact, we've got 3 amazing canned foods that are not only safe, but also incredibly nutritious and tasty. These are the ones you should be stocking in your pantry. Let's dive into them right now. Canned black beans pack about 8 grams of protein per half-cup serving, and they're also loaded with over 9 grams of fiber. That fiber isn't just about keeping things moving, it's fuel for your gut microbiome. When those beneficial bacteria feast on the fiber, They produce short-chain fatty acids that help reduce inflammation, support digestion, and even strengthen your immune system. Mary Waddell, a registered dietitian and nutrition analyst with Whole Foods Market, recommends reaching for low-sodium varieties and giving them a quick rinse before use to wash off excess salt. These beans are versatile, nutritious, and incredibly convenient. You can literally open a can and have a protein and fiber-packed addition to any meal in seconds. That's a win for your plate and for your gut. These little gems are high in complex carbohydrates packed with inulin, a starchy fiber that acts as a prebiotic to support a healthy gut. That means they help feed the beneficial bacteria in your intestines, promoting smoother digestion, steadier blood sugar, and even better nutrient absorption. Artichokes are also rich in vitamin C, antioxidants like cynarin and silymarin, which may help protect your liver and reduce inflammation. Here's what's really cool. You can roast canned artichokes into crispy chips for dips, blend them into lighter spreads, or toss them on a homemade pizza for a savory boost. They're incredibly versatile and add a gourmet touch to any dish. Plus, unlike many of the canned foods on our avoid list, artichokes actually hold their texture and flavor beautifully in a can. They're definitely worth keeping stocked in your pantry. And now, the #1 healthiest canned food you should always have in your pantry is canned pumpkin. Most people think of canned pumpkin as a fall-only favorite, but nutrition experts keep it stocked year-round, and for good reason. Pumpkin puree is rich in vitamins A and C, loaded with antioxidants like beta-carotene, and surprisingly high in fiber. About 3 grams per half cup, that combo supports your immune system, improves gut health, and helps steady blood sugar levels. But here's what makes it truly special. It can replace butter or oil in baking, cutting calories while adding nutrients and natural moisture. Just make sure to avoid the pumpkin pie mix, which comes loaded with added sugar and syrups. You want pure pumpkin puree, nothing else. Here's a pro tip. Freeze leftover pumpkin in silicone ice trays and toss the cubes into smoothies for a boost of fiber and antioxidants. It adds creaminess, subtle sweetness, and a whole lot of nutrition. No canned flavor included. Canned pumpkin proves that not all canned foods are created equal. It's a genuine nutritional powerhouse that deserves a permanent spot in your kitchen. So there you have it. 10 awful canned foods to absolutely avoid, and 3 that are actually tasty and healthy for you. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the worst canned food you've ever tried? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to know if you've experienced the horror of canned ham, or if there's another canned nightmare we missed. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our future videos on healthy eating and food facts. We're here to help you make better choices in the kitchen.